All right, we are now recording, so people who are not here, if they can pick up what we're doing today, and here's somebody else here. Oh, I know Elijah. There you are. Okay. All right. Still missing just a few folks. Hopefully they will be here. All right, so let's get started on the okay, all of you are familiar with Blackboard, right? Okay, now where do I load this stuff that you can go to it? When you go to this class homepage of Blackboard, I don't see the student side, I only see my side. So it may be a little bit different, but I think basically it's the same. In the upper left corner, there's a series of tabs. And the instructor side, they're blue. I don't know what they're on the student side. But usually the second, third one, somewhere up there, is one that says content. Okay? And right now, if you go to this course, content, you will see the syllabus. You'll see a tab for it, and you click on that, and you can see the syllabus just like I have here. I've also got the research paper general instructions there. We'll go over that next. I've got my locator card. I hope it's correct now. They keep changing schedules this week. So I've got that updated and it's there. I tried to get them, that's what I was trying to get the PowerPoints to upload, and because this is a new text and they don't send DVDs with them anymore, we have to go to their website and upload, and they wouldn't take my, they took my email address, that's the login, but they wouldn't take the password. And so I had to call around, couldn't get anyone to answer the phone. Finally, right before class, she called back and told me they had changed my password. Okay, they had sent it back to a default. So I didn't know what the default was, so she told me, so I was able to get in. So I have, if we need to get started today, I have today's, but I don't have it on Blackboard yet. Also, I'll put on Blackboard under content, sites that either I found or students have found and said they found useful in the course. Okay? Now, no one's given me Khan Academy that said they really liked. I've heard people say that, but no one's given me the address they liked in it. So I haven't put that in there, but that's one. But there's things like Midnight Tutor, Slater, Education Portal. There's a variety of ones like that. I don't have those there under content yet, because I was fighting to get the PowerPoint. But once I get everything set up, those will be there. And then usually at the very bottom of content, scroll down, see through all that other stuff, all the PowerPoints and everything like that, scroll down to the bottom, and it'll say Math 125 YouTube videos. Okay, and you click on that, and you go to the playlist. Okay. Now, in the playlist, all the videos that I've taped before are there. Okay, so the last term that I taught this may have been last summer, maybe I can't remember now when I taught this last, and those are there, okay? However, those are from a previous book, okay? The calculus is the same, the PowerPoint stunk in that whole book, so you might be able to get something useful there. But what you do, I'll leave those there in case the system goes down or something, you'll have something covering the material in the out there. But usually the ones I do for this time, for instance, syllabus, that's what I'm going to name this one, and it's going to have more than syllabus, but when I put that on the playlist, I'll take off the one that I had for summer. But the summers, the previous times are all going to be at the top, the new stuff's going to be at the bottom. So to get the new stuff, scroll to the bottom of the playlist, and that's where you'll see the stuff we do this term. I'll leave the other stuff in there in case you need it for reference or something like that. Okay, so let's get going. Any questions before I get started there? That's how Blackboard will be set up. I've started it, but it's not complete yet. All right. They told us we had to use this new logo because it has to say Alabama Community College System, and it does in 2 places, and not say Alabama Department of Post-Secondary Education, and yet it's in the thing that they gave us to put. So I don't know what their hang-up was, because they still have Department of Post-Secondary Education there. I don't know. But anyway, that's not the important part. Here's the important part. We are spring 2018. This is Math 125, Calculus 1. Everybody in the right class, right? Okay. 4 credit hour course. That's why it goes from 9:30 till 11:10 rather than 10:45 like a 3-hour class would do. So 9:30 to 11:10, Mondays and Wednesdays. And of course, as you probably already realized, and I've told them as an instructor many, many times, the people who do the calendar, please don't start any class, any term on a Tuesday or a Thursday. Always start with Monday or Wednesday. Why? Because this week we started on Tuesday. So this week we'll have Tuesday, Thursday class and only a Wednesday class. Next week, Martin Luther King Day is Monday. We'll have Tuesday, Thursday class and only one Wednesday class. So we start the term 1 week behind Tuesday, Thursday sections. Every term, if you think about it, fall term, Labor Day. Summer term, Memorial Day. Within the first 2 or 3 weeks of every term, we have a Monday holiday. So I say, please don't start a class on a Tuesday, Thursday. Start on a Monday, Wednesday, and then we're only 1 day behind, and possibly we might have a chance to pick that up. But no, they do it every term. They never listen to instructors because it's administrators who make the decisions, and they're never in the classroom, so they don't think about things like this. Taiwan, right? Okay. And you still go back to Taiwan, right? Okay, someone got your seat. Okay. All right. Okay. So here we're Monday, Wednesday, and we'll struggle to get everything covered we need to. Bessemer Campus, Building A, that's where you are. This is room A255. You're in the right place. My information, my name's Charles Fowler, if you haven't picked that up yet. My email address is cfowler@lawsonstate.edu. And by the way, most of the employees of the college, that's their email. First initial, last name @lawsonstate.edu. Not all, okay? For instance, Miss Sharon Williams down in financial aid. There was already a Miss Selena Williams in the system, and so she was S. Williams, so Miss Sharon Williams is S.D. Williams, I think, a middle initial in there. And occasionally you'll see that. Down the hall, Miss Cicely Martin. There was already a C. Martin, I can't remember Chris Martin in the system, so she had to be C.D. Martin or something like that. So a few times you'll see people with 2 initials last name, and then there's a few people who just choose to be a little different, okay? Like Mr. King, who teaches English and speech. He's Kelvin King, not K. King, okay? He just changed his, and that's fine. I just left mine as it is. cfowler@lawsonstate.edu, and most of us are of that first initial last name, unless we have a very common last name and a common first initial. My phone, let me tell you about email right now. Ever since we got back, I have been fighting with schedules, canceling classes, calling students, doing all that I can to try to do, and I hardly ever have gotten on email. I had to get on this morning just to see if they gave me a new password, and I found 2 or 3 emails I had to respond to, so it's just nuts. So I'm a little bit behind on emails now, but hopefully I'll catch up shortly into the term. So if I don't get an answer to you right away, that's why, okay? My phone, on this campus, Bessemer Campus, 929-3449. I'm here on Bessemer Campus Monday through Thursday, most weeks, okay? On Friday, I'm on the Birmingham campus, most Fridays. And there it's 929-6409. All right, now, let me tell you about phones. The last person I talked with that said they tried to leave me a message said my voicemail box is not working. So I don't know what the problem is, and I haven't had time to try to figure it out. So I would say even if it gives you the option, don't bother leaving a message because I may not be able to get it, okay? So what my advice is to you, I'm going to give you I've got my office hours here. Please, if you're calling me, call during office hours, okay? And if I'm in the office, I'll pick up the phone and talk with you. If I'm not in the office then, hang up, call back in 5 or 10 minutes, I should be back. Because I'm usually in the office most of the office hours. Sometimes I'm on the phone and can't get the other line, and you probably can't tell that, but if you'll try to call back. I usually try to wait till the other person finishes talking and say, can I pick up another line right now? And sometimes I hang up before I get there. So me, please hang up and try again during office hours. So if it's outside of office hours, probably email is best, and who knows when I'll get to that too. So, why is this not advancing? Oh, this is a mess. All right. Finally, I've got some response. Nope, still no response. I don't know what's wrong with the system today. It just is being wacko. Oh, now it's turning off. Okay, let's see if it's back now. Nope. Okay, I have no scroll bar. I've got a cursor, but it won't register anything. Let's see if I do this. Nope, it won't do that. Okay. All right. Let's cancel that. Now let's see if it advances. Nope. I've never had this happen before, that it just freezes completely. What I'm going to try now is to get out of this. Let's go to this one. Okay, it went there. Let's go back to that. It's working now, I think. Yes, there it goes. See here? Sorry about that. My office hours. Okay. I was scheduled for a Monday, Wednesday, 8 o'clock class that didn't make. So on Monday, Wednesday, I'm usually here from 7:45 or somewhere around there until this class starts at 9:30. Okay? And that's where I got a lot of stuff done this morning. I wasn't being interrupted. Then this class goes to 11:10, so I'm back in the office usually around 11:15. Y'all can get to me right after class, but back in the office 11:15 until 2. Now, sometime in that time frame, I'll probably grab lunch. Okay? Most days, I bring my lunch, and I eat my lunch in my office. Even if I get lunch in the cafeteria, I take it to the office. So you can come by anytime then. If I'm eating right in the middle of a mouthful, I might think, can you wait just a few minutes till I swallow or something and spray through that all over you. But, sometimes, most of the time I'll be able to deal with it even if it's during my lunchtime. I put it down as 12 to 1, but that's flexible. Because if the students are in, I do it whenever. Okay. Then I've got, I forgot to do the glue. Got to correct this. Okay. I left something out. And I thought I had corrected it, but evidently it didn't take. That class, I have a class at 2 o'clock. It goes until 3:15. And then from 3:15, and this, I'm a slow typist, but this is even slower, till 5:15. Okay. Whoop. Goodness gracious, it's not typing. Okay. All right. Now I have to go back and change it in another class too because I made a change. So I've got a 2 to 3:15 class. They just stuck me with a double overload without asking and gave me a developmental class that I haven't taught in years. And they got a different book and different everything since the last time I taught it. So I'll be there from 2:15 until 2 till 3:15. But then I'm back in the office from about 3:15 to 5:15 Monday and Wednesday. Now on Tuesday and Thursday, I'm stacked to the gills. Okay, I have an 8 o'clock class, a 9:30 class. It ends at 10:45. So sometime after 10:45, I'll get back to the office, and then I have another class starting at 12:30. Now this is in the first mini term. Second mini term, that class won't start until 1:15. So those hours will change after the first week in March, sometime around there. So for now, 10:45 till 12:30. And again, I'll try to eat lunch sometime in that time frame. I set it aside, put it on my locator card as 11:30 to 12:30, but I'll just eat whenever I can. And that's Monday through Thursday, Bessemer campus. On Friday, I'm on the Birmingham campus, 7:45 to 11:45. Now, one thing I just noticed, I forgot to say it. Okay, sorry. I talked about my phone, but I forgot to mention my office. On the Bessemer campus, my office is room 265. Those of you who have been in my class before, you probably know where that is. Those who haven't, let me show you where that is. We're here in this corner classroom right here. This classroom here. If you go out of the door, take a left, go down this half flight of stairs there, and go almost to the end of the hall. Don't bump into the wall at the end. Before you get to the end, the last door on the left is a stairwell. Don't turn in that. The one right before that is my office. Right between the mechanical room and the stairwell, 265, that's where you find it. Same side of the hall, left-hand side of the hall, last office on the left, 265. Right across from the orientation classroom, if any of you know where that is. That's 256. The numbers don't make a lot of sense, but it's there. Now, on the Birmingham campus on Fridays, I'm in the academic building. Are most of you familiar with Birmingham campus? You know, the academic building is the B building, that long building on the back side of the quad. Okay, there's one end toward the ACAT building, another end toward the gym, the Arthur Storrs Fine Arts building, the tennis courts, and the baseball field. B122 is on that end, the end toward the baseball field and the tennis courts and that kind of stuff. So if you're coming in that side, you know, both side ends of the B building. If you come into them, you either go up half a flight or down half a flight. Go up half a flight. Go all the way to the end just before you're at that step to go down that half flight of stair. B122 is just right there. Coming in from this side is on the right. Coming from the other side when you go all the way down the hallway. It's Dr. Pruitt's office. Just about everybody knows where Dr. Pruitt, who he is or where he's located. He has a suite of offices on the end down there. His secretary is Rose Saxton. Miss Rose Saxton, her desk is the first thing you'll see, and his office is in the corner. And behind Miss Saxton's desk is a copy room. It has a little round table in it, and that's where I am on Fridays. Okay. Now, about this phone number. I said don't leave me a message here because I'm not sure my voicemail is working. Last time I checked, it wasn't. Okay, on the Birmingham campus, the 6409, that's not my number. It's the number for that office. But that office Monday through Friday is the grant coordinator uses that. So that's her phone number. So if you call that number, don't leave a message because you'll be leaving it for her, not for me. I can't access her voicemail. So please don't leave a message there either. Again, if you can't get me in the morning there, hang up, try again a little bit later. They love calling meetings on Fridays, okay? So even though it looks like I have lots of office hours then, in reality I really don't because, well, most Fridays I do, but a lot of Fridays I'll have a meeting right in the middle of those. I'll try to let you know ahead of time if I know about those meetings. That's not what I wanted to do. Okay. One more. Okay. So I think that's covered. Now, let's go to the course description. Now, this is not something I wrote or anyone here at the college wrote. This was done by a committee of two-year college folks and the public four-year colleges and universities. They said, if we teach this, they give you credit for it. So, here's the course description. This is the first of three courses. Now, we're not supposed to change a thing in it, and maybe they've got this changed already, but back when I first started teaching Cal, they had it in the state course directory. This is the first of T courses, T-E-E. That's not right. I cannot put it on my syllabus. I know I'm not supposed to change that, but I'm going to put the H-R in it. So I changed that. I think they corrected it now. Of three courses in the basic calculus sequence, taken primarily by students in science, engineering, and mathematics. I take it as you, right? Okay. Topics include the limit of a function. And since we're talking about this, I see a few of you do have your text. If you open your text to the table of contents, There is a chapter that's called Preparation for Calculus, the P chapter. A good thing to review, to go over, to look at. See if there's anything in there that you never learned, you remember doing it but forgotten, or it's real fuzzy and you need a little review on. Review that. Next time we meet, next Wednesday, ask me and we'll clear up any of those things. Or come see me during office hours or whatever. Okay, so chapter 1, though, limits and their properties. So that's that. Topics include limit of a function. That's chapter 1. The derivative of algebraic and trigonometric functions. I'll stop right there. That is chapter 2, differentiation. And they don't say those words, but I went through, this is my first time teaching from this text, so I had to go through and check. Algebraic and trigonometric functions are covered in chapter 2. Exponential and logarithmic functions are not. We'll get those in chapter 5. Okay, was someone at the door? Okay. Oh, okay. Oh, the wind blowing on me. Okay. This is a real tight old building, right? Okay. All right. So exponential and logarithmic functions, that's going to be over on chapter 5. We'll get to that in a minute. Okay? And the definite integral and its basic application to area problems. That's basically chapter 4. Even though it starts with indefinite integration and area, then when it gets to fundamental theorem of calculus, that's where you get to definite integrals. So that's chapter 4. Okay? And let's see. Definite integral is basic area, application area problems. Applications of the derivative are covered in detail. That's chapter 3. So we won't do them in this order, but we'll do them in the order in the book. But that's chapter 3. Applications of differentiation. Okay? Including approximations of error using differentials. And that isn't listed here specifically, but section 3.9 says differentials. Okay? So we'll be covering that. Maximum and minimum problems, that's basically extremely, yeah, that's 3.1, extremely of integration. Okay? And curve sketching using calculus, and you'll see that, 3.6 is a summary of curve sketching. So all that will be covered in there. Okay? And that covers what we're doing. So chapters 1, 2, 3, 4, and then in 5, we'll do 5.1, 5.3, 5.4, 5.5, 5.6, and 5.7 if we have time. Now, the odds are we'll run out of term before we run out of subject matter. But I'll get enough covered for you to be ready for Cal 2. Okay? Basically, Cal 2 starts with applications of integration. So I think we'll be, say again? We'll use the same book for Cal 2, 1, Cal 2, and Cal 3. So once you buy this, you got it. So if you're going to rent it, you either have to rent it each term or see if you can do a long-term rent. Okay? All right. So that's the course description, and I've just done some of the others. Prerequisites, basically, you must have passed. If you scored for Math 125, fantastic, way to go. If you didn't, hopefully you've done either Math 113. I know several of you have. You were in my class, and if you're transferring in, some schools use Math 115 rather than 113. Either one of those will work. C or better, yeah, I think you're there. Textbook, I've already shown it to you, but that is this text. It's Calculus by Ron Larson and Bruce Edwards. Okay, it's the 11th edition. It's a Cengage Learning book. I don't like Cengage Learning as publishers. They're, I think, expensive. There's a lot of things I don't like about them, but I like this author. Okay? Now I'm going to point out something to you here. You see on the very title it says with Calc Chat and Calc View. Okay? Now what Calc Chat does on every exercise set at the end of every section, and the review exercise at the end of the chapter, and the chapter test at the end of the chapter, everything they have, up at the top it will say, see calcchat.com for tutorial help and worked out solutions to the odd number exercises. When I give you homework exercises, I'm going to give you odd numbers. 2 reasons. One, their answers are in the back. So if you do the exercise, check your answer in the back. You got the right answer, go on. Okay? If you don't have the right answer, see if you can figure out what you did wrong. If you're stumped, go to calchat.com. It's a website. It's there all the time. It's free. You didn't even have to buy the book. You can use it, okay? Most people won't know it's there. But you can see tutorial help and worked out solutions to see where you went wrong. If you still can't figure out why they did it that way or what they're doing with it, bring it to class and we'll talk about that bit. So this author does this. I don't find any other author that I've ever seen that has that for every exercise set in the book. Now, in this exercise set, I just have to open 5.2. We're not even there. But you'll notice that exercises 9, 29, 33, 55, 67, 69, 73 all have red letters. Those numbers are in red letters. The red letter means that at calcview.com you get even more of a tutorial help for those specific exercises. So this guy does more for the students than any other. Now, with that in mind, Cengage books usually come with WebAssign. Okay? Now, are any of you big fans of WebAssign? You are. You like it. You want me to set it up, the course for you. I'm not going to give homework assignments on it, but it does have good tutorial and sample problems and stuff. If you want that set up, I will. But with all those things, I think why? But if you like it and want it, I can do that. No? Any of you want that? It's not particularly hard to do. What I'm going to do is call the book rep and say, set me up the course. And that's what I'm going to do. So y'all want that? Okay. So I'll give her a call back since she finally answered my phone call and see if they'll set up WebAssign for this course and probably for my Math 112 and 113 also. I'm not going to use it, but you can use it. You paid for it, you can use it. Now, if you got your book somewhere else, you probably don't have WebAssign, but you're not going to need it. I'm not ever going to grade you on it or anything else. And here's one reason I don't. When I have tried to use WebAssign before, I found out that it's a computer. And computers are not smart, okay? I'm sorry for you computer science majors. They only do what you program them to do. And they program these to recognize one and only one answer. And you will see in no time flat, you probably have seen it already before, when you're doing calculus, you can write those answers about 15 different ways that are all perfectly correct. And yet, WebAssign will only mark one of them right. And you might spend all your effort trying to figure out what you did wrong when you did absolutely nothing wrong. You just wrote the one half in front rather than under. I mean, it's just ridiculous. And I spend most of my time when I do use WebAssign calming students. No, it's the right answer. I know they said it was wrong, but it's not. It's the right answer. I have to go in and change the grades and do all this kind of stuff because you did it right. You did everything right, and yet it told you it was wrong and gave you a poor grade. And I'm not even sure I can find that out for everyone. So it's just more of a pain than it's worth to me. But if you like it, and it has a good tutorial. I'm not saying it's not a good product, but it's just terrible to have it do the grading because it doesn't do it well. Okay. So anyway, I'll try to set that up. It may not be next time, but it'll be as soon as I can get it done. Okay. And this is the 11th edition. It's a 2018 book, which means should be good for a few years. So you should be, even after you finish the sequence, we'll still be using it the next time. So you should be able to, if you need to or want to, you can sell it back. Okay? Graphic calculator. The only reason, someone else did the syllabus, I left it in there, and I put it on the book orders when I did it, so that if you are on Pell Grant and you have money left over and you want to buy a graphic calculator using Pell money, you can. Now, if you want to cash in your Pell and go to Walmart or someplace like that and get it much cheaper, you can do that too, okay? But I left that in there just so Pell will cover it if you want it to cover it. Paper. Bring paper to class every time. We're going to be doing math. Today we won't do a lot, but most days we will. Graph paper. Certain of these functions will be graphing, and that's helpful. You don't have to have it. When I give you a test, I'll provide the paper if you want it. If you have your own you prefer, you can certainly use that. Now, it says pencils here. Again, I didn't write this, but I'll make a confession to you right now. When I do math, and you'll see this really soon, I tend to make errors, okay? So I like to use a pencil so I can erase those, and it's not quite as messy. And once you see my writing, you'll say, he needs a hole. He can never, you're laughing. I got to see that. Okay. All right. I try to keep it as neat as possible, which is not very neat. Okay. So, but if you like to use pen, I don't care. So that's not an absolute requirement here. Now, this next paragraph on Blackboard is not my favorite paragraph, but they put it in the syllabi and they said, you cannot change this. This is required in every syllabus. And they haven't updated it in years. So it's sort of ridiculous. All also take community college students must be trained in Blackboard and use Blackboard daily to gain access to vital course information such as the syllabus, and you will read the syllabus every day, won't you? Saturdays and Sundays included. Every day, okay. I knew you would, okay. I'm making fun, okay. But I have the syllabus out there, but I just saw I have to change something, so I've got to make that correct, okay. Handouts. Generally, if I have a handout for you, I will hand it out to you, okay? So I usually don't put those on Blackboard. Because if I put them on Blackboard, then that means you have to then go and find a copy, print it out, and turn it back into me or something. And why make you do that? I can do it, and that way I don't have this, I can't get a product copy yet. Well, I'll make sure you have it. Okay, you would do that. Okay. PowerPoint shows. Now, they're not there yet, but they will be. They'll actually be there twice. First, they'll be there in static form once I get them so I can access them and put them there. I'll put them in static form in content in Blackboard, okay? But secondly, as I'm teaching, I use those PowerPoints. I write on the PowerPoints. I talk about the PowerPoints. You can see all that in a dynamic form when we cover the material. So they'll be under content, under PowerPoint. Dynamically, they'll be under content in the YouTube videos. Okay. Activities. Now, sometimes the school publishes activities. It puts on Blackboard. I can't think of many things I'm going to put as an activity, so watch for the college. Assignments. I already have out there your research paper assignment, and that's in content. The rest of them will also be there, but they will be in YouTube videos, because at the end of every section or at the end of every class, I'll say, okay, here's the exercises to do from this section or that we covered so far in this section. So you'll have to go to the YouTube video to see what they are. They're there, but they're not. I don't type them out every day. Okay. Announcements. I can't think of any announcements I would make, but sometimes the college puts announcements on Blackboard. Grades, I do try to put your grades in, and especially since you're a Monday, Wednesday class, I do have a fair window of office hours after this class, so hopefully I can get the grading done pretty quickly and out there on Blackboard fairly soon. Hopefully that day or the next. Okay, Tuesdays and Thursdays I have almost no office hours, so if I don't get them done Monday or Wednesday, it'll be the next Monday or Wednesday or Friday. Whatever comes next is usually when I get them out. So I'll try to get them soon. However, once we start registering for summer and fall, the last time I checked, I had about 450 students that I was listed as their advisor. Now, they don't all come see me, but a lot of them do, and a lot of people who I'm not listed as advisors, they come see me too, especially if they're advisors on the Birmingham campus or something like that, or any problems they have in the front office, they say, go see Dr. Fowler, okay? I don't know why, but anyway, they do. So, once we start registering for summer and fall terms, I may slow down, and if so, I'll try to catch up on Fridays. So if I don't have them there that day or the next, it may be the end of the week. Okay. All right. I do not like this next sentence. It's so negative. Failure to use Blackboard could severely damage your ability to pass the course. If they let me change this, I would say the proper use of Blackboard could greatly enhance your ability to do well in the course. It's a much more positive statement, and I think closer to reality. Now, maybe some people, the way they teach, if you don't use Blackboard, you're going to fail, okay? And I think some people do that. They have Blackboard teaching the course for them. So I don't do that. I'm not organized enough for that. And the next sentence is ridiculous. See the schedule book inside cover to determine when you can attend trainings. We haven't had a schedule book in years, okay? None of you were even here at the college the last time we had a schedule book. So they won't let me take that sentence out. There it is. They have updated it, okay? If you need help in Blackboard, come see me. I probably won't be able to do it. You probably know Blackboard better than I do, but I can find the answer to your question and get back to you or get you to the right person. I don't like this last sentence either. Students should always check the Blackboard announcement page prior to coming to class. Why would they put that in there? What's the parenthetical thing they haven't said? Comma. In case the instructor has decided to cancel class. And I'll tell you this, most of you have been in my class before. How many classes do I typically cancel? None. Okay. If I have something happening, I'm going to let you know plenty ahead of time, and we're going to reschedule it and stuff. But I just don't, knock on wood, arbitrarily cancel classes. So to me, that's almost an insulting statement. But I guess for some classes you have to do that. But I don't buy that. Okay. So let's look at the course student learning outcomes, and we'll look at the course competencies at the same thing. Actually, I've already done these for you when we went over the, I knew it was going to do that. Okay. Students will find the limits graphically, numerically, and analytically. Chapter 1. There it is there. Okay. Students will take the derivative functions using product and quotient rules, higher derivatives, chain rule, implicit differentiation. Chapter 2. Students will apply the derivative to extrema, curve sketching, optimization, and Newton's method. That's chapter 4. Okay? No, I'm sorry. That's chapter 3. Sorry. Chapter 3. Students will approximate and compute area using the definite integral and use the fundamental theorem of calculus. That's chapter 4. Students will, and oh, by the way, under differentiation, the chapter 5 is there too. Logarithmic and exponential functions. That's in chapter 5. Now, this is the first time I've used this book. What I haven't decided is whether when we're doing chapter 2, we'll jump down and do 5 and then go back to 3. Probably that's what we'll do. But if it makes more sense, we may just do 1, 2, 3, 4, and then do 5 at the end. It really, I don't think matters. But we'll see. I'll decide that sometime. So the chapter 5 stuff is also in with take the derivatives of functions. Okay? And then students will use the computer and graphing calculator to illustrate knowledge of concepts such as limit, continuity, extreme values, curve sketching, that kind of stuff. Now, is it absolutely required for you to have a graphing calculator? No. Only if you want it. You'll be doing some curve sketching, curve sketching, okay, graph sketching. You can do it on paper or you can do it on the computer, okay? That's up to you whether you use the graphic calculator. Again, someone else did this syllabus, so I left it in there. If you have one, you'll be using it, okay? And it might help you see those things a little bit better, but we'll be using the illustrations from the text to show you the same thing. All right. Students will research and write on a topic in calculus. We'll talk about that next. So that's the research paper, and then we will have a final examination. Now, let me step back from that for a moment, okay? Because calculus, as most math, builds on itself, okay? I'm not convinced, because I haven't taught from this book before, I don't know how fast or slow we're going to be going. It may be that at the end of the term, we're still on that last chapter, whether it's 4 or 5, wherever it is, and it may be the final exam will just be on that chapter. It will be the final exam that we have in the class. It may not be comprehensive. Now, if we finish everything in plenty of time, then I'll give you a comprehensive line, okay? And that way you can tie everything together. So far, in the last text, I never was able to finish. It was a really awkward text and hard to fit. We'll see how this one goes. This guy is, like I said, better author than just about any. I wish he didn't write for Cengage. But anyway, that's that. Any questions so far? Yeah, nothing. Yeah. All right. Oh, yeah, I meant to say that. Thanks for asking. Usually for small classes like this, and for fairly complex tests like I usually give, and I haven't even seen their test bank. But let me ask you, would you rather have in-class or take-home tests? Really? Wow. What a shock. Okay. All right. I'm figuring we'll have take-home. Okay? And there's a couple of other reasons for it, too. And one of the main ones is, in reality, a boss isn't going to say, okay, here's a test for you. I want you to do this in 50 minutes or an hour and 15 minutes or something like that, an hour and 40 minutes. No. You're given a problem. He says, find the solution for this. So you go out and use whatever resources are at your beck and call. And you learn some becks and calls so you can know how to do it. That's what you're going to be doing in real life. So why not test you that way? And don't worry, in that other book, their test bank was obnoxious. So this book, I hope, will be a little better. I've used his stuff before, and usually it's better than that. So if it's okay, we'll go in and have that. The other thing is, since we're already losing a week of classes because of starting on a Tuesday and having a holiday immediately, I don't really have a lot of class time that I want to give away just to take a test. So we'll just continue in class, and I'll give you the take-home test. If you don't like them, we'll talk about changing. Okay. Grading policy. The research paper is required for the course. That's not optional. It's required. It will count as a test grade that cannot be dropped. Chapter test will be given at the end of each chapter, 1, 2, 3, 4. I don't have to decide whether 5 will be in 2 or separate yet, but we'll figure that out later. The lowest chapter test score may be dropped. Now, why do I put may rather than will? I'll do whatever helps you most. If you did a lousy job on the paper or didn't turn in a paper, you're going to need every test score you can to bring that up, okay? So that's why I put may in there. Now, that final exam, whether it's comprehensive or not, that last test is not droppable. It may not be dropped. It will count as one test score because it probably will turn out being just a chapter test. But even if it's comprehensive, again, it's going to be take home, and you're only going to have 1 week to do it, so I'm going to make it short enough that you can do it in a week. Some of the other early chapter tests maybe take you more than a week. I hope not, but I can't have that take you more than a week, so it will just count as a single test score. But the research paper and the final exam cannot be dropped. The score will be the average of the others' grades. Okay? And of course, 90s or 8s, you know this. Don't go here, okay? Please don't, okay? This is, come to class, if you do the work, turn in the test, do the paper, you should be up here. If you do wind up down here, if you miss too much, miss too many classes, skip tests, don't have them, they're going to be zeros, don't do a research yet, you may wind up down here. Don't do that. Go on and withdraw, okay? And here's why I say that. Well, here's what they say. Students are expected to attend all classes, and that's what I just talked about. If you're unable to attend classes regularly, even though I'm recording everything, you can't ask YouTube a question. I mean, you can, but it's not going to answer you, okay? So it's helpful to be here, I think, okay? So we can interact and work through things. So if you can't be here, you're missing material. And by the way, it says regardless of the reason or circumstance, okay? I have such a, but this is an excused absence. Well, that doesn't, it's fine. The thing is you're not here. And if you're not here, you're missing material. I can't help it whether you're at a doctor's excuse or not, you're still missing material. Now, if you can catch it up on the other thing, fine, good, I want you to. That's why I record. But if it puts you way behind, whether it's excused or not, that's not going to make much of a difference because your grade's still going to be your grade. Okay? Withdrawal from the class can affect your eligibility for the federal financial aid, but guess what? A D or an F does the same thing. Because if you make a D, an F, or withdraw, you have to repeat the class, right? Even though a D is a passing grade, it usually hurts your grade point average because you only get one quality point there, and hopefully you're all above one other, hopefully in the twos and higher. Okay, so a D is going to hurt you. But not only that, Lawson will not give you credit for the course. Even though it's passing, you don't get credit for it. You can't transfer it. No school will transfer the Ds. So therefore, we don't give you credit. You have to retake it again to fulfill your graduation. Okay? So, a D, an F, or a W all has you repeating the course. Financial aid only cares about how many times you repeat a course. They'll pay for you to repeat it once. They won't pay for you to repeat it twice. So a W isn't going to hurt or help any work better or worse than a D or an F. How it's better? A D hurts your grade point average. An F really hurts your grade point average. A W does not mess with your grade point average. There's no loss of grade point average with a W. So the next one. Now, if you got a C in the course or a B in the course, but I want to withdraw, I want an A. Well, guess what? Financial aid's not going to pay for it if you've already passed the course for you to take it again. So if you withdraw, they will pay for it. But why? I mean, that's up to you. But if it's a D or an F, withdraw. Anything higher, that's up to you. Okay? Does that make sense? Okay. All right. Now, make-up work, sort of a crazy concept on the take-home test, right? Okay, so assignments should always be submitted within 1 week of the day they are assigned. So I'll give you a test, and you always have at least 1 week to work on it, okay? That includes the final, by the way. Now, why do I give you a week? 2 major reasons. One, that gives you another class day you can ask questions about it. Like if you take it home, start doing it, say, what is this even asking for? Or I don't understand. You can come back and ask. Maybe you can do it sooner if you want to by phone or email or something. But it gives you a class period to say, wait, I don't understand what this is asking for or what you mean by this. Here's the other thing I allow. I've had to ask for it. Can you do number 7? And the answer is, I sure hope so. I gave it on the test. But no, I won't do number 7 because that's what I'm grading you on. Okay, but I will work anything from the text. And frankly, those test questions are going to look like similar enough to something that you've been assigned as a homework exercise. So you can come back that middle day and say, can you do number 15 on section 4.3? Sure, let's do that. And if that helps you on your test question, fine. Okay? But I won't do the test question. I will clarify, I will try to make it easier and tell you what I'm asking about, but that gives you that day to do it. The second reason, always give you a weekend. In case you're busy and crazy during the week, and the weekend's the only time you can catch up, it always gives you a weekend of work. Okay. And remember, you do get to drop 1 major test, not counting the paper and not counting the final, the last test. Okay. Now, lateness, I'll try to be here today. I was a little late because I was on the phone and couldn't get off the phone with her. But anyway, she called right before class was right before I was going to leave. I needed to get the information. So, try to be here on time. Now, I know some of you ride the bus and other things like this. I understand. That's why I record everything. So if you do have to get here late or leave early or something, it's all there. Now, the statement on discrimination and harassment, you see this on every syllabus, so hopefully you don't need it again. Let me just, I wrote it. I'm going to emphasize something and expand something a little bit. The thing to emphasize is this. Any practice or behavior that constitutes harassment. Now here I'm going to expand. Harassment, discrimination, I count, including with this, bullying. Okay? If any of that is happening, okay, that's all under this word harassment. That's a violation of State Board of Education policy and will not be tolerated. They wrote this, not me. Now, harassment, bullying, discrimination of any nature is never tolerated. Do you get the idea? Okay? Not tolerated. Okay, I wanted to get that across. And the other thing of the expansion. Now, I've been here, I think this is beginning my in the middle of my 21st year, okay, teaching almost always in this classroom. I've taught in some other classrooms before, but here at this campus. Now, originally I was at Western State Technical College, that's where the original campus was. Then we merged with Lawson, so it's been at Lawson most of that time. And I have seen almost nothing that I find fits under here. Is that saying it doesn't happen? I hope it's saying that, but it doesn't necessarily mean that. Because the odds are someone's not going to go out and overtly do something like this in front of me. Okay, I don't think. Okay, I'm too big, mean, and ugly looking, that they'll risk doing that. But you may see it, so please, you be my eyes and my ears. If you see or even sense that someone's being bullied or harassed or discriminated against, please let us know. If you don't trust me, go to my supervisor. Go to somebody in authority. Let us know. We will even help let you write us up. Okay? If you feel like you haven't gotten a fair shake with it, we'll have you write us up. Because we take it seriously. The one thing that didn't really qualify here, but it came close, and it's a good illustration anyway. It was in the first 2 or 3 years I was here. I was teaching automotive math. We have great automotive programs here. They're on a co-op. They come for the first, that's why we have many term classes, by the way. It started with them. The first year students come to class the first 8 weeks and then go to dealerships the next 8 weeks. So they have to have all their classes on mini terms. The second year students are at the dealerships the first mini term, and in class the second mini term. This is a first mini term student, fresh out of high school, didn't need to be here. I think his dad said, you have to go to college. Well, I'll do auto mechanic. He didn't have any interest in anyway. Very immature. Sat right back there, if I'm not mistaken. And one day he wasn't here. I said, he's absent. He's not coming back. I said, oh, really? They said, yeah. And then they told me this story. One day at lunch, it was like the previous day or sometime, it was nice spring day. Spring and fall. It was still nice weather. And he just decided to walk across people's cars in the parking lot. They were parked close together. That falls under stupidity, not discrimination or harassment. But he did that. Someone saw him. He was in the dean's office within minutes, and he was off campus shortly thereafter, never to be seen again. Okay. So that's what I mean, not tolerated. Now, we give people fair shakes. We listen to all sides and that kind of stuff, but we take it seriously. Okay. Americans with Disability. And again, you see this on every syllabus, so I'm not going to belabor this too much. I'll belabor everything too much. Sorry about that. Okay. If you haven't noticed already, those who've been in my class before, I'm hard of hearing. Okay, so if I've asked you to repeat something, your name or something, or if you had a question, it's not because I'm obtuse, maybe I am, but it's that I just don't hear well. So, I'm a little sensitive toward disabilities. Mine's not serious, I don't even claim it is, but I think the college does take this pretty seriously. If you or someone you know has any kind of disability, vision, hearing, dyslexia, some of those letters, ADHD and all those things, I don't understand them all, but whatever they are, bring the documentation. It's your responsibility to bring it to campus. Not to me, I'm not a professional at that. Dr. Renee Herndon on this campus, and she's actually the head of Office of Disability Service. She's our chief counselor. She's on this campus, and Mrs. Janine McCoy-Jones on the Birmingham campus. These are their phone numbers, and we'll give you the location in just a minute. You can even go to the college's website and request a meeting online. They have that too, okay? And this shows you how to do that as well. So it's your responsibility to bring that stuff to us. I can maybe look at you and see you squinting at the board, and I can't assume that you have a vision problem. It may be you just like to squint. I don't know. Maybe you have a tic. whatever. I can't assume you have a problem. You have to initiate with us. Otherwise, I might be discriminating against you without meaning to. So where are these locations? Here on this campus. It's in this building, down on the first floor. If you come in the student services entrance where the admissions desk is, just go to that desk, ask for the ADA counselor. Now, if you don't want to ask, if you want to go straight to her office, you know, when you come in that and the desk is there, you probably came around on the right-hand side to get here. Don't do that. Go to the left-hand side. There's a very short hallway there. When you get to the end of that hallway, take a left, and her office is right at the end of that little hallway. So if you want to go there directly, you can. I don't remember the room number, but it's Dr. Renee Herman. On the Birmingham campus in the Leon Kennedy building. For those of you who know Birmingham, that's where the cafeteria is, police, and those are on the first floor. Up on the second floor is the bookstore, but also the Space Center. And go to the Space Center, that's where Mrs. McCoy Jones is. Okay. Any questions on that? Okay, the course calendar here, this is actually just the academic calendar taken straight off the web page. Oh, okay. And so you can go to our website and see this. I hope I've got it correct. We began class yesterday. Next Monday is Martin Luther King Day holiday. Drop ad ends on Tuesday. Blah, blah, blah. Everything, most of the stuff that I think you'll need is there. This is not a holiday, Honors and Awards Day. Only the time when that's happening will classes be canceled or suspended. Okay? And that only if you have a full-time instructor. If you have an adjunct instructor, you may actually still have class that day. And it's usually Thursday morning, sometime in the morning. If it's 10 o'clock, we may have an 8 o'clock class for a little while. If it's 8:30, yeah, we're not going to have an 8 o'clock. So it just depends on what time we set it up. But you'll be back by noon, so classes will resume in the afternoon. But that doesn't bother us because we're Monday, Wednesday. Okay. And then finally, and this is out there on Blackboard, but I do have to make, I made one correction. I can't remember what it was now. What was it? Office hours. I had that. I'll make that correction, get it back on Blackboard. Once you do that, if you either print out this page and sign and date, or just type it in and email it to me to let me know that you've seen the syllabus, you understand the syllabus, all your questions have been answered. So right now, are there any questions? Sorry, I'll probably take way too long. All right, well then I'll go on and get rid of that one. Oh yes, let's save it. I made that change. Okay, I've got to remember to change it. Before we go to locator card, let's do the research paper. Oh man. Yuck. Well, the research paper didn't load. I don't know why, so let me go back and load. Did I make any changes? I don't think so. So let me go and reload that. Yeah, this system is just messing up pretty badly. I've not had this much problem with it, especially on just simple things like this before today. This is crazy. Yesterday, all these same things I used, and they went well. They were slow loading, like this is, but they went well. Here we go. Oh, there it is. Research paper, general instruction. You choose your topic. I'm not going to assign a topic, pick a topic, anything that has remotely connected with calculus. Okay? Anything you want. It can be a person. We're going to run into bunches of people who contributed big time to calculus. There'll be many of those. It can be a theory. Already, I think we mentioned today, fundamental theorem of calculus. Okay? We'll do that sometime. You can choose that or several others. There are other things like rules, L'Hopital rule. Who was L'Hopital? That's a paper topic. Or what was his rule? How did he develop it? You may find out he didn't develop it. Okay? He stole it. Okay, so that you might find that interesting. Kind of, okay. Okay, it could be a phenomenon, something that's described or illustrated or shows calculus is a really, you use it for that. An application, and that's really an important type topic too. For instance, how do we apply finding areas using these formulas, or how do we use the chain? Anything such as that, an application. Maybe your major, okay? Any mechanical engineers in here? Okay, right there. How do you use calculus in that? Or electrical engineering, or whatever your major happens to be. What is the applications there that you run into? Or any other such topic about what you have an interest and you can relate it somehow with calculus. Or, now this is something I've added fairly recently, an internet application or demonstration. Now what do I mean by that? Well, let's say we're talking along about the chain rule or product rule or something like this, and you do not understand beans of what the book is saying, and I make it worse. But you go out there and go to Khan Academy or one of these other places out there and say, wow, that makes perfect sense. Why didn't he say that? Why did the book say that? Well, there you can write on what was wrong with what we were saying. I'm not going to have my feelings hurt at all. How was it, you were confused? How did this make it better? How did this compare with other sources you went to? They didn't make it, that kind of stuff. You could easily get a page or two out of something like that. So if you want to do that, that's another possibility. Okay? Something you found useful in the class. That's where I got some of those sites from. People say, hey, I found this. This is great, So let me know what it is. I'll put it on Blackboard so everybody can find it. Okay? Now, what I'd like you to do, either today or next week, is write your name on a piece of paper. That's pretty easy, right? And then write down at least what you are right now thinking of for your paper topic. Just to get you thinking of it. You can go through the book. The book can be a great source of ideas for your paper topic. It can't be your source for your paper topic. You have to get outside the book. But you can find lots of ideas in here. Okay? So write down the topic you think you want to pursue. And that's all that on just one piece of paper. Here's something else you can put there that has nothing to do with the research paper at all. And I'll give you the background first. Not very frequently, but every now and then I'll get a panicky phone call from someone in the business office, the registrar's office, dean of students office, somebody, and say, this is in your calculus class, do you have a good phone number for them? The number in the system we can't get through. And there's some sort of, hopefully a minor emergency, but something they really need to talk with you about. And they asked me, so if you want to give me your very best phone number, you can. You don't have to. It's not required, but since you got that piece of paper there, if you want to give me that number. Now, for a lot of you, I'm guessing it's going to be a cell number, right? Well, if there's a chance that cell phone, the battery could die, or you can leave it at home or in the car, or you run over it with the car, or, something changes in it and stuff. If there is a stable, like Mama's landline or something like that, that we can somehow get in touch with you through, you can give me that number if you choose. You don't have to if you don't want to. Now, I know a lot of my students in various classes will sometimes work during certain days of the week. And it may be that at many jobs, I know they don't want you using a cell phone at work. But it might be okay for you to get someone calling for an emergency thing in through some number. If there is a number and you can't take incoming calls at your work, and you want to give me that number, that's fine too. I don't need any of these. They're only backups if I need them. I'm never going to give these numbers to any other student, to anyone outside the college. It's only going to be for our in-house use. So if you don't want to give me any numbers, you don't have to. You can give me just 1, 0, 1, 2, or 3. I can't think of any reason I need more than 3. If you can think of, give me another. I don't care. Okay, so on that piece of paper, I want your name and paper topic. You can give me the numbers if you want. Now, your sources can be from any book, journal, magazine, articles, newspaper, anything that you can find in a library, anywhere. And you can use the interlibrary loan, you can use the CERSI, you can use all these sources that we have at our beck and call here in our library system. Okay? Now, or you can use a legitimate, now notice this word, legitimate source on the internet. I tell most of my classes this, those who've been in my class before have heard it. If someone were to press me and say, what's the greatest thing that's ever been invented during your lifetime, I think I would have to say the internet. I believe in 1951, it wasn't in existence, or at least it wasn't very much of a form. It's all been developed while I've been alive, and it is incredible. It is absolutely amazing what you can do with it. I know there's more than two, but two big problems I'm thinking of right now. Number one, at least, and I'm guessing maybe more than half the stuff on the internet is total garbage. Okay? Number two, sometimes you don't know which half. Okay? So be very careful with internet stuff. Make sure it's something that's documented, that's reliable. If you can find that, you can use the internet. If you have any doubt, ask me. I'll take, oh, yeah, that looks good. Yeah, I've seen that before. Yeah, you can use that. Or, I don't know about that one. Let's just find something else. Okay? So, I'll be glad to help with that. The textbook can be a great source of ideas. It cannot be your outside source. It has to be something outside the classroom, outside of that. Now, how long? Your paper has to be at least one word process page of text. What do I mean by that? Well, I mean, students turn in all sorts of things, and sometimes they like to do some big header at the top and have some sort of information there. Skip a few lines and have the title, triple space, and start typing somewhere about here. What's one page of text? It would start here, go to the bottom of that page, and on the second piece of paper, has to come down at least that far. That's going to be a page of text. It's not just one piece of paper, one page of word process, not handwritten, not typewritten, word process page of text. Now, this is single spaced. I want you to double space, so you don't have to have it as crammed as I have here. I don't want it that way. It's easier for me to read and mark if it's double spaced. So please double space. And use your standard points. This is, I think, 12 point, 12 pitch point, whatever you call that. I don't want you to use 26 and that 3 words fill a page, say, I'm through. No, that's not going to work. Okay, so don't go there. I don't think you would. I don't care what font you use, but I have to be able to read it. I don't read hieroglyphics or Old English or Cyrillic or Greek or any of those. Keep it something clean. Times New Roman is just for everybody, all the word processing packages default. This is an Arial, Courier. There's pages of good fonts. Just make sure it's something I can read. Not too many curly Q's that I can't tell an S from a G. I don't want any of that. I want it clean. Okay? Now, I said at least one page of text. Try to keep it less than 2 pages if you can. But I don't want to stifle your creativity and interest. If you get a subject and you just find it really fascinating and you go more than 2 pages, you're not going to lose points for being too long. You will lose points if it's less than that 1 page of text, but the only reason I say try to keep it less than 2, I don't want it to be that big of a burden to you. Something you can knock out pretty quickly and do a good job on. Okay? Now, let me say this too, and this hasn't happened lately, but I have had it happen years ago in the past. I don't know if this is actually what they thought, but it's what came across to me. Well, if I can't dazzle them with my brilliance, I will baffle them with my quantity. And I've actually had a person turn in 7, 8, 9 page paper. It's a lousy paper. I think they knew it was a lousy paper, but they were trying to impress me with how long they could write. Well, guess what? When you turn in a paper to me, it's a 100-point paper. Then I start reading it, and if I find errors, you start losing points. I can hear you now say, don't read it! Now, I'm going to read it. Every word, all 15 pages if you choose to do that. But as I read, if I find errors, you start losing points. So 15 pages of garbage, you're going to lose a lot of points, okay? Now, 15 pages of a great paper, you're not going to lose many points at all. I'll probably enjoy reading every word of it. But I say, try to keep it a page or 2, 1 or 2 pages of text. If you go over, no problem, as long as you have a good paper, and most of you will, okay? You can use any format. If you've been in English classes, they usually teach MLA, that's Modern Language Association. A lot of science organizations use APA, American Psychological Association. But there's tons of formats out there. When I was in grad school, one of my professors in a research class insisted we use CBE, Council of Biological Editors. There's lots of formats out there. Pick one, stay with it. That's the key. If you start indenting your paragraphs, indent all your paragraphs. If you block your paragraphs, block all your paragraphs. Do it consistently. Now here's one place I've seen, not often, but occasionally I do see this error. Say somewhere in this first paragraph, they make a reference to something, put open parentheses, put the last name of the author, comma, year of publication, blah, blah, blah. And then somewhere down here in the later paragraph, they make a similar cite, not that one's a book and one's a journal article, but something very similar, but then they open parentheses, put the title of the article, comma, page number, or something like that. Oh, wait a minute. These are the same type of citations, but they're in different formats. I think I know what happened. In this one up here, that was using one format, and the student sort of copied that format and used it for this paper. And then down here, it was someone using a different format, and they use that. Well, hey, be consistent. You choose your format. Don't go by what they did. You choose a format and stay with it. Again, different things are going to have different formats. I understand that. But if it's the same type of material, that better be in the same format. Okay. Now, spelling, grammar, sentence structure, all those things that English people grade, I grade them too, okay? Now, I'm probably not going to be as harsh as they are, you know, might only be a point or two or something like that. They may take off a letter grade, not that bad. But there's no reason not to use spell check. Every word processing package I know about has spell check and grammar check these days. Use them, okay? I can't believe how many papers, it's not many, but I can't believe I received any papers that has obviously not been spell checked. I mean, very simple words that can't be any other word misspelled. I mean, sometimes not that simple, but certainly no other word. So use those things. And use a good proofreading. Now, I had a senior English teacher in high school, and when she assigned research papers to us, and really other papers too, here's what she said to, I'll remember because she used these sort of, to me, unusual phrases. She said, get your paper done early, set it aside, and she used the term, let it rest. Well, that's a strange way to talk about it. Pick it up sometime later, like after a weekend or, you know, next week or something, and pick it up and read it, and her phrase was, with fresh eyes. In other words, it's just like you pick up an article and you're reading it for the first time. And if you're reading that, and read it carefully, and you get to a point and say, what does that mean? Okay? It's something you've written, but you can't remember what that's talking about. Well, guess what? I mean, I know because I've done it. When you're typing along, you know exactly what you're thinking, and you know exactly all these ideas are flowing, and you know exactly what it means. But if you pick it up later and look at it, or someone else looked at it, you've left something out. You know what the connection was. They don't. Okay? So that's why if you read it with fresh eyes, that's good proofreading. Okay? And again, papers turned in at the end of the term, I can tell many times it's not been proofread. They would have caught this, you know. So, but content also matters. Not just grammar, but content. If you have inconsistency there, here's just a dumb example, but actually I've seen this. Someone writing on a person, and they mentioned the person in the first sentence or two, and they chose to do this, open parentheses, the year of his birth, comma, the year of his death. That's very standard. Okay? And then somewhere on page 2, they mentioned that he died in a different year. It must have been a long illness. You know, no. Be consistent. Make sure that what you do. I've also had things like Isaac Newton probably did something in 1479, but they happened to type 1947. You know, I know he didn't do it then because he was dead a long time by then. Okay, so make sure you check content also matters. I've had people, not in this class probably, write on Pythagorean theorem and state it incorrectly. Or maybe the whole theorem of calculus and state it incorrectly. You know, I'll pick up on most of those. So content also matters. All right. Now, when is the paper due? By the last day of class in this term. Now, the last day of class is sometime, I think, the last week in April. Finals is basically the first week in May. Not quite exactly, something like that. So, I need it by the last day of class, but please don't wait till the last day of class. That's why I'm asking you to get a topic soon. Start thinking about it, start gathering your materials, start putting things together. You'll never have more time to work on the paper than you do right now. Because later in the term, you're going to have other projects, other papers, reports, finals, big tests, other things happening. You've got more time now than you'll ever have later. Okay? So start now. Okay? Now, if you turn in your paper after the last day of class, like the next day, you're losing points. Okay? During finals week, you're losing points. After the term's over, I'll still take it, but you're losing points. Okay? That's the stick. Don't be late with your paper. Get it in early. Here's the carrot. If you turn in your paper this month, the month of January, I'm going to add 3 points to that grade. Whatever your grade is when I finish reading it, add 3 points to it. You turn it in the month of February, you get 2 bonus points. The month of March, you get 1 bonus point. The month of April, you get your grade. I guess it's windy outside, huh? Okay. Now, one other thing that I require that almost nobody else does, when you submit your paper to me, include a single page from one of your sources. Okay, remember you've had 1 or 2 or 3 sources. Pick a source, any source. Pick a page, any page from that source. And if it's something out of the library, take it over to the copy machine, copy another page from that. If it's something off the internet, that's a good source, print me a page from that. Just a page. All I need is 1 page from your source. That comes in with it. Any questions on the page? All right, good deal. If you have any, this is out there on Blackboard already. There's my phone number, email, everything. Come see me. Get started soon. Okay. I will have another class coming up, so I'm going to leave this on my computer. And let's look at my locator card. All right. This is basically the spring 2018. This is the first mini-term. I mentioned that earlier. I'll show you where the difference is going to come. My name, my phone number with the Friday number on it, 4-digit suffix. My email address. I'm in the math department. I'm usually on campus, either campus, by 7:45 every morning. Now, sometimes traffic gets messed up or one thing or another, but usually I'm here by 7:45. Okay, on Mondays and Wednesdays, I'm here from 7:45 until this class begins. Okay, office hours. Then this class, and then it gets through at 11:10, so I'm back in the office usually by 11:15, maybe a little later if I have too much to do here. And I'm in there for about 45 minutes before lunch. Now, you can come see me during lunch, because most of the time I eat in my office, and you're welcome to come in. But they want us to put when our lunch technically is. We're not nailed to this. Then after lunch, I'm back in office hours again. Let me just scroll down if I can. Whoa. All right, yeah, that catches it all, doesn't it? I'm back in the office from 1 until 2, and then they gave me a developmental math class. Now, right now, that's in 205, but I'm going to move them to this room, okay? And that class goes until 3:15, then from 3:15 until 5:15, I'm back in the office again, and that's when I leave campus. Most days. Now, some days, I'll be here past 5:15. In fact, I'd say most of the time I am. A few times, like yesterday and tomorrow, I've got to leave right at 5:15 because I had one meeting last night and I have another meeting tomorrow night. 2 different meetings, but they just happen to be this first week of class. Okay, but tonight I'll probably be here past 5:15, and that's Wednesday. And most days I will be. I'm not now. There are some days that, and usually that's going to fall on a Wednesday too, where I might have to. There's something I sometimes do on Wednesdays that I have to pick up something at a business that closes at 6 in Homewood, so I have to allow about 45 minutes to get there. So those days I will leave at 5:15. Fridays I'm on the Birmingham campus, the academic building, B122, there to 7:45 to 11:45. But most Fridays I'm there later than that. I don't usually eat a full lunch that day because I'm going to be going home soon, but I usually have some sort of snack or something. I usually start eating at about 11. Okay. Any questions on my locator card? Where I am, what I'm doing. Man, we're almost out of time, aren't we? Okay. So we got that done. What we didn't get done, and sorry that we won't get started in calculus today, nor the next time to begin with, we need to talk about safety. So remind me of that in class next Wednesday. We start with safety, and then we'll get into calculus. Okay? Good deal. Any questions? Sorry I talked too much. And I didn't quite get started as early as I wanted to because and then the computer messed up. So otherwise, I think we would finish safety too. Not going to take a long time. Good deal. We will see you next week. Okay. Training to do first day of class. See you next week.